Great. So welcome to Sunday team call. And first off, is there anything you want to talk about before I get into the content for today?
Not yet. Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, the content for today is finishing up the book that I read that I said I was going to coach from. I'm going to finish up all the remaining chapters and skills. So did you see the team call last week? So it's the book by Worre called Go Pro, and it's all about professionalism of network marketing and how to create how to create it to be a professional atmosphere rather than just the side gig that people do, expect to make money and never do because they don't have a degree of professionalism in their conduct, and they don't look at the industry as being one that is a genuine profession like any other profession out there. Okay, so I'm finishing up the skills. So the last thing we had talked about was presenting your product and your opportunity to people who are interested, and that the main objective of introducing people to take a look at what we have, either the opportunity or the product, is to educate and help them understand. That's it. That's as a consultant, because that's what we are, independent consultants. If you think about what does any other consultant profession do in the world, is they ask a lot of questions, they gain information, and then they give the people information and allow them to make decisions. That's exactly what we're doing. And unfortunately, too many people become tied to the outcome rather than being a person who educates and then creates understanding with the people who are either following them or inquiring to begin with. So you want to invite people to take a look, and you want to form relationships more than you want to care about what the outcome is. So one thing he said in here, which I found incredibly striking, is don't act like a hunter. If you act like a hunter of either prospective teammates or prospective customers, everyone around you is going to feel hunted. And what do hunted prey do? They run, they hide, right? And that's not what we want from people. We want people to be open and willing to hear about what we have. And they're not going to feel like that if they're not going to behave that way if they always feel poached by someone looking to like target them. Even if they never said they were open whatsoever to the opportunity, we're just like, hey, you, what about you? You look like you could. It's like, no. They've never expressed an interest whatsoever. Don't go targeting them because they're going to run the other direction. So the best way to educate people to and create understanding is to invite them to an event. Now, if you don't have a physical event, invite them to an online event, some sort of online presentation. There is a saying that says the person with the marker is the one that makes the money. And what that means is generally the person stepping up and doing the presenting, they're the ones making more money because they've stepped into what is one of the most uncomfortable things to do, which is public speaking. Everybody is afraid to be ridiculed. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of gaffing what they're trying to say, not being entertaining, maybe being too entertaining. Oh my gosh, these people, are they boring? Oh my gosh, they just left the Zoom, and then they take that to mean something about themselves other than like, well, who knows? Maybe their kid's puking around the corner. Like, you don't know why they left the Zoom, but they will 100% take that as I am not an interesting person or a credible authority. That's why they're leaving. And that could not be at all. So you want to instill a level of connection with the people that are coming to your opportunity via online or in person. Always create a level of connection and use the tools that we're all given to help further the understanding and the education of our industry and our products. So there are obviously sharing the wine is huge. Sharing the coffee is huge. Give them a physical product to hold. If you're at tastings, use the olive oil, use the balsamic vinegar, use the physical products that we have in order to help create a connection and to educate them in an understanding of what it is we have. There are articles, tons of articles. If you just search up network marketing during a recession, you should feel very good about being in network marketing if you look that up, because network marketing typically does really well. And if not, then the industry just kind of stays level. But when you come out of a recession on the other side of it, network marketing typically does incredibly well for the people who are firmly established. There will be tons of people who want to jump in at the tail end of a recession, like, okay, it's been shit long enough. I think I'm ready to try and do something about this. My company laid me off 8 months ago. Looks like I'm not getting a job. I think I'll jump in. Most recessions last about a year. I mean, average is 8 months. It's been an excessive amount of time since we've had a recession. So in my brain, I'm thinking, because I'm a dork and I really love to study economics, but you didn't know that about me. I actually love studying the market and economics. This one will probably be about a year. So if that all happens the way I'm assuming it will, and while other financial experts, not me, the actual experts have said, it seems like we're all on par here, that it'll probably be a year minimum, maybe 15 months, of where people are going to be like nail biting. They've been laid off for a while. They're not getting another job. You know, interest rates are going up. Housing prices are going down. GDP is going down. All of these other factors that are contributing into an economic recession are all going to be going on. They're finally going to want to get in, and then they'll just be like, wow, it was awesome timing. But you, the established name, the authority in the industry, the person who's always shown up when people start getting money back in their hands, the premium product, because let's be honest, what we have is a premium product. They're going to want it again. And then you're going to have a lot of people knowing that they want it, and they're going to want in on this too. So hold the line. Globally, you can't change what's going on, but you can definitely hold the line and then ride the coattails of this shit show right back up again. Okay, firmly believe that. All right, so skill number 3, was it number 3? Skill something. Chapter 6 is all about presenting your product. So remember, we are not the experts on our products. No one here is, well, I can't say no one. There are some sommeliers, but no one on our team is a sommelier, okay? We're not the experts. We're not the issue. So if they don't want to join and they have an objection, there's lots of common objections, and let's go through those in just a moment. But you're not the problem, because you have presented third-party tools. You have presented stories, you have presented other opportunities outside of yourself to say, take a look at this, take a look at this. And remember, every outcome for an exposure should be setting another appointment for another exposure, right? So if somebody says, yeah, I'll take a look at what you have, say, okay, well, I have a great video for you. When could you for sure take a look at it? Well, I could for sure take a look at it tomorrow. Okay, so if I sent it to you, would you for sure take a look at it tomorrow? Yeah, I could do that. Okay, great. So after you've looked at it, can I call you on Thursday? Yeah, okay, great. You have them set the appointment. So when can I follow up with you? Oh, how about Thursday? They set the time. Say, great, I'll call you back then. Send them the video. Then you call them Thursday. So also with calling people, if you want the profession to be treated as if it's an actual profession, you have to behave like a professional. So what I like to do is I set the appointment in my phone, and then I set a reminder to text them 30 minutes before I'm going to call them. And you've probably received a text like this from me. Hey, we have an appointment in 30 minutes. Is this still a good time for you? That's being incredibly respectful to the person that you set an appointment with, because you have no idea what's going on that side of the world or on that side of their phone line. So be a professional, set the appointment, give them a courtesy text. Is this still a good time for you? If they say no, oh my gosh, something has come up, say that's totally fine. I get it, because we all ought to get it, right? Things always come up for everybody at some point. Then just set a new appointment. No big deal. Reset the appointment and then follow up as needed. So most people need 4 to 6 exposures before they're ready to make a either purchasing or joining decision. Okay, 4 to 6 exposures. Professionals will compress that amount of exposure time into the shortest time frame possible. If you spread that out over 3 or 4 months, it's very easy for them to get distracted by everything else going on in their life instead of what it is that you guys were talking about. So say your initial exposure is, yes, I would like to go ahead and take a look at what you have. Okay, great. You send the video. Well, you ask them, so what did you like most about it? Well, I really liked how this is pretty flexible and I could work from home. Okay, great. Can I go ahead and send you some literature on what the joining and stuff looks like? Sure, go ahead and send some literature. You send some literature, next day they look at it. So tell me what you like best about that. Yes, you can work from home. What else did you really enjoy about the literature I just sent you? Well, I really like, wine seems to be a product that people, but I really haven't tasted it. Hey, no big deal. Why don't I go ahead and get a set sent to you? Or why don't you? I like people to order their own sets. And because what you can do is they'll order their own wine. I don't like to send people wine because I think it's too much buy-in, even if it's only, $25 for us to send to them for our sets that we earn. We don't always get them for $25. Clearly, if you haven't earned it, you don't get it. But even that level of buy-in, I'm just not willing to do it for somebody who hasn't given anything back in return other than yeah, I could be interested, like just not willing to do it. So why don't you purchase some wine, right now, and then give it a try. If you love it and you're ready to join, I will transfer your order back to you when you become a consultant. You can do that in the same joining month. So if they join in September, or I guess it's almost November, and November 2nd, they order their own wine. They decide, yes, I'm in, after they try how amazing the wine is. November 15th, they join. You can turn right back around and send them that order. So now they've commissioned from it. Nobody's losing on that end. And if they decide not to, then you don't lose on your overhead expenses for running a business, right? Because those tasting sets are intended for us to bring to people and actually have them try the product, not to send it all over the globe for inevitably what will probably be people taking advantage of your generosity. And smart business people don't send things out for free. Okay, even the coffee samples, I'm not sending samples out without a purchase first. So I'm telling everybody you can have some sample with purchase, but I'm not giving it to you without a purchase. So everyone will do things differently, but I'm choosing not to devalue my business enough to just start handing things out for free. All right, I'm kind of jumping all over. My notes are like, stay on schedule. Let me see where I was. Oh yes, and work on your presenting skills for everybody watching, not just Kathy who's here live, but everybody. Please work on your presenting skills. I'm super proud of Teresa. She has agreed to do our November team call, or not team call, but onboarding call for new prospective clients. She was incredibly nervous and she said, this is way outside my comfort zone. I said, great, this is exactly how you're gonna grow. So I said, thank you very much for doing it. I'm happy to go through a dry run with you. Like, I'm gonna be on that call. I will support you on it. Like, I don't have to be on the calls, right? The point of having our entire team is so that it can free up some time for me, but we are still, and it can help teach future leadership, because I can't be the only one leading the team. If anyone wants to grow in leadership, I have to help mentor and help teach them how to be leaders. So I'm going to be on these calls for a few months, everybody else's calls, trying to help model what it looks like to be a good leader so that they can further start teaching leadership development down the road. That's the only way your team duplicates and you become a stronger leader, is if you develop leaders underneath you. So I offered support and she jumped on it. She said, okay, I'm going to do it. Can I drink a lot of wine first? I said, sure, feel free, go ahead. I don't need to drink a lot of wine before I present anymore because I've been doing it for a very long time, but it's okay if you do, I don't mind. All right, and it's okay, by the way, too, if your presentation totally sucks. Totally fine, let it suck, and then work on it, watch your own presentation, and then take notes on how you can improve the next time. That's the only way you get better, is to be self-disciplined enough to say, here's where I can improve. Maybe I should have made better eye contact. Maybe I didn't look at the camera often enough. Maybe I wasn't interactive with the people who were there. Maybe I gave too many stats. Maybe I didn't give enough. You know, try and look at all the different colors of how people learn, the reds, greens, yellows, blues, and try and touch on every single one of those. Because if you go all red, you're going to scare some people away. If you're all blue and shy and stead back, you know, the people who are all red are going to be like, where's the intensity? You know, the people who are like, give me the facts, Jack, let's move on. So try and marry all 4 different personality types into your presentations. All right. Yes, be on time. Oh yeah, keep the follow-up exposure. One great question to ask people is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? If it's anything over a 1, that's good, because that means they have an interest. If someone says, well, I'm about a 5, say, okay, well, what can I do to help that number get higher for you? They probably just need more information. Well, I really want to try the wine first, and if I really like it, then that could really, okay, great. Well, we know that we can't compress the shipping time any more than what the shipping time is. It just is what it is. So they'll set the order. You've got the tracking. Watch when it tracks, watch when it delivers. Say, okay, it looks like you're going to get your wine on Monday. Could you try it Monday night or maybe Tuesday? Yeah, I could try it Monday night or Tuesday. Great. So let's, what time on Wednesday can we talk? Set the appointment. Again, another exposure. Okay, we can talk on Wednesday. Great. What time is good for you? They set the time. Remember, we're respectful because we are professionals and it's about their experience. They set the time. We follow up. Tell me what you liked best about it. Ask them which one they're going to try first. Make sure you have the tasting notes and you're ready to discuss that particular wine. Tell me what you love most about it. They're going to talk about the wine. Say, okay, well, let's see. You have watched a video, you've gotten some written information, you've now tasted the wine. All right, so you're at 3 exposures and they've talked to you. So that's 4 exposures now. You're on the lower end of about how many times people need an exposure in order to make a purchasing or joining decision. So where are you at now in your number scale? Well, I'm probably an 8. I'm probably an 8. Well, an 8's really good. So tell me what would put you at a 10, which means you're ready. Like what would put you at a 10? Well, I mean, I think I'd really like to hear about how other people maybe are successful. Easy peasy. I've got my upline that I can call. Let's get on a 3-way call. And then she can tell you a little bit more about her experience. And you find anyone in the company that you align with, doesn't have to be me, anybody whose story most resembles the prospective client or teammate that you're talking to, and then reach out to them and say, hey, can you get on a 3-way call with us? They want to discuss potential and all that with somebody else. Absolutely. Set the appointment. Okay, great. When are you available to do this? And you set the next exposure. You get it? Like we're just keep on following up until they either tell you to go pound sand or they end up purchasing or joining. If you follow a pattern of professionalism where you're putting the ball constantly back in their court, they will not feel like they're being taken advantage of. They will feel in control the entire time, and they will feel educated and understood, right? Which is the primary objective of our entire profession, is to educate and create understanding. All right, so so list of common objections. Let's go. Go ahead and tell me a couple.
I don't have time.
Yes, the time factor. So one thing, you want to be able to relate to people when they tell you, I don't have any time. So if you too understand that you don't have time, nobody really actually has time for anything. And I made a post the other day on Facebook that illustrated that nobody has time. I said, I invited the retirees and the grandparents. I said, tell me, how much more time do you have now that everyone's like, no, nobody has the time. Nobody has the time. Okay. So, but what you don't want to do is tell somebody like, of course, nobody has the time. I don't even have the time, but look at me. I'm over here crushing it. What the hell's your problem? DOA. We don't want to do that. You're dead on arrival. Nobody wants to do that. But what you can practice is, I completely understand where you're coming from. I too felt like I had no extra time to do anything. But what I found is if I just squeezed it into 10 or 15 increment time periods throughout the day, I would set my calendar after predictable schedules. Like I finished homeschooling with my kids at 11. I would take 15 minutes from 11 to 11:15 to do reach outs. Once they were done with lunch and had free time between 2 and 3, I would take 45 minutes of that, to do some content. So what I found is if I just took little chunks of time, I was able to progress in my business, even with having very limited time. Do you think that's something you could do? Find 10 or 15 minutes here and there throughout your day? Most people are going to respond like, yeah, actually, I could do that, right? So another common objection is money. Well, I don't have the money to join. Well, again, you want to relate to them and then share in your story with it. And if you don't have a story of money problems, then find somebody in the company who does, because I promise you, people in the company, I had the story of the money problem, which is one of the biggest reasons I started my business. I was tired of being broke. I was tired of always having half a month left and then no money. I was damn sick of my husband coming to me and saying, by the way, it's the 16th. Don't spend any more money for the rest of the month. How am I supposed to do that? I have 6 kids to feed. How am I supposed to spend no more money for the rest of the month? So-and-so needs socks. His shoes are talking now because the sole has come off the front of it. How am I not supposed to do? I can go cheaply, but I can't not spend any money. Like you're going to have to do some different things. Well, I'll see what I can do to pick up an extra shift. It just got so exhausting. And I was finally just so sick of it. I said, I got to do something. If I'm not going to go back to work as a nurse full time, because that would create a whole other element of, okay, I'm working when you're here. And then I'm here when you're working. So you can kiss our marriage goodbye because we won't ever be able to talk or see each other. Like there's got to be another way. And then I thought, okay, people make money in network marketing. What if I could do that? What if I could stay home, continue to raise the kids, find those 15 or 20-minute increments within my day? And what if I could bring in just even a couple hundred extra dollars a month? Now it's thousands, but in the beginning, I was just hoping for a couple hundred extra. Like, what could I do to help close this gap? That's what you want to relate to people, right? Because that's what they can relate to is, yeah, I hated feeling like that. Hated it. Every time my husband says, let's talk about the budget, I pretty much want to fall on the floor like a toddler and throw a fit. I hate talking about budgeting stuff. I realize the necessity of it, but nonetheless. All right. So, one of the other big objections that we hear a lot is like, oh my gosh, is this an MLM? Is this one of those things? You're like, so you have a story around this, don't you? Tell me what your story is. I would love to hear what your experience has been so far. And then let them tell you what their experience has been so far. Chances are they got into an MLM before, they spent a bunch of money on product, and they made zero on the back end of it. Or they had a mentor that was completely disconnected from the business. They had absolutely no integrity, which happens, by the way, in every single industry in the world, not just network marketing. So they never got proper mentorship. They never had a leader. They never got a path. They never had a goal plan. They never had anyone help reverse engineer how much they wanted to make. It was a disaster from the word join, right? That's not what they're going to experience here. Okay. I am a professional. You are a professional. Pretty much a lot of people on our team are professionals, and we're conducting our businesses like that. We're created systems that people can get plugged into. We are offering weekly team calls that people can get spun up on. I'm about to put a Calendly link that people can get one-on-one personal team coaching. I mean, it's all here. It's all here. You're not being left alone. Nobody is. So let them tell you their story. Allow people to talk more than you talk, and listen, as I say, as I'm like talking, but it's the team call. That's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. All right. So your next skill is having them become a customer or a teammate. All right, so you're unattached to the income or to the outcome of your interaction, really, because you're really wanting what's best for them, but you really need to promote yourself, because if you're invested in their success, then you need to tell them that. If you get me, you get a mentor who's invested in your success, right? Because your success equals my success. So why would I not be interested in it? You also need to be ready. You're not going to send them a welcome sequence right now, but you're going to be ready with it for when they are going to join. So you either need to have a text sequence that you're ready to fire out. You need to have an email. You need to have a video, something. When you joined, you got a text sequence from me. Most people have all gotten a text sequence from me, and then you get a joining from corporate. However, they're not joining corporate, right? They're joining you. So I've met other leaders that have a video that they send. Even better. Great. Well, not even better, but it's just as fine too. Figure out what your welcome is going to look like, and then get in line. What is it that they need to do quickly to get a win? You want them to get a win quickly because of that dopamine response. Okay, serotonin is going to come into play much later when you get a sustained like string of success. That's when people start experiencing the serotonin, like, I love winning over and over and over again. But that will come later. Right now, you need a good hit of dopamine that says, I can do this, and create that immediate success for them, or help them create that success for themselves. So find out, once they're ready, you have a system, find out what their income goal is like. And then you're going to help them reverse engineer that. How you're going to do that is you're going to ask them, how many hours can you commit a week to this? Like, give me an honest number, examine your schedule. How many hours can you commit to this? And then you're going to need to ask them, how many months are you willing to work those hours to reach that financial goal, whatever their financial goal is? Some people will come up with something so ridiculous that I want to make $10,000 a month, $10,000 in 1 month. Okay, some people have done that, but that's really not that's not a realistic timeline. So I can teach you how to make that much money, but you're going to have to push your timeline out a bit for that. Okay. So once they've already agreed, either to join as a consultant or to purchase, I mean, your purchase sequence for me usually always looks like, when I get a brand new customer, I always thank them for their order via text. I always send them a welcome email. It's in our team group. It has all kinds of specifics about how the wine should be served, how it should be stored, different temperature, why our wine is different, links to the vacuum air sealers, like all kinds of stuff. It's a whole thing, right? That says, hey, you're now part of an organization and a family, my family, and then they get dumped into my other email system. But nonetheless, you want to give them some sort of welcome. And then Penny now allows us to track those orders and then follow up and say, hey, I see that you got your order. Did you have time to taste anything yet? Yeah, I actually did. Tell me what you liked best. Which one of you tried first? And then have a little conversation about what it is that they tried. And remember to keep the relationship going, not just to create a new sale, but because that's what we're doing, right? Is we're relationship builders and friendship makers. All right, so you want, when people decide, okay, I am going to start a business with you, I'm ready. Perfect. You want to validate first their decision. Welcome on board. You have made the best decision. You are part of the best team. Our team is amazing, and we're definitely going to help you crush it. So you did wonderfully. Help set what their expectations should be like. If they say, I want to make, I'll use easy numbers for math purposes, I want to make an extra $150 a month. You're like, great. Have one tasting a month that reaches a little over $600, either between what you sell and what you buy, and you're there. Next. Like, that's very simple math. We know what our compensation plan says, and later you can help pull out that compensation plan and just tell them what they need to do to get to associate manager. Don't tell them what they need to do to get to associate director. They're not ready for that. Just help them get to associate manager first. And then executive manager is definitely more of a leadership role. Associate manager, you have teammates, but executive manager, you have multiple teammates with multiple downline activity. So at this point, just help them get there. Here's what I want to do to help you get to the next couple of levels. And then once they're there, they'll be far more like ingrained in how it is that we move within our system and our business. All right. So you need to let them know that you're here to make them independent. They should not be relying on you for everything at all. You can be a resource I say for the first 3 months, I will be a resource for you, but every month you should rely on me less and less and less. So by month 3, you should be going and building your own business. I love you. Bye. You have to create independence within your consultant base, or that is not duplicatable. You will never be able to grow your own business if you have a bunch of baby birds that constantly need to peck at your chewed up worms. Don't do it. Create independence. Let them know that you would love to communicate with them, but how do they want to be communicated with? If you're not showing up to team calls, do you want me to call you and say, hey, yo, what's up? You told me you wanted this. What's going on? Do you want me to just leave you alone? That was one of my main questions I asked every single person on this team when I telephoned them. I said, tell me what you want. Do you want to be in this group on GroupMe? Do you want, and some of them were like, no, I don't. Just kind of leave me alone. I said, great, love you, bye. I left them alone. I'm not going to call them again, but set very clear expectations with people. So have a get started checklist. We already know that's in the back office. It's right there with the low rocket ship. Direct them to that. They will also get a checklist in their joining packet. So when they get that in the mail and they get it very quickly, they're going to get a joining packet. It already has a checklist in there. And remember, I said it in the first video, but your list of a bajillion people that you make, those are not people you're trying to onboard, okay? This is a list of people that you need to create relationships with. Doesn't mean you're prospecting every single one of them. I think that's where network marketers get this all kinds of twisted and screwed up, is they think, well, that's my prospect list. That's everybody I'm going to ask to join the business. It's like, no, it's not. These are all the people that you're going to form relationships with and keep in contact with just in case they need you someday. Okay. And trust me, if they want you, they will tell you. You don't have to chase them. They will come to you. All right. So the whole getting started checklist, like a basic understanding of what the comp plan looks like I said, up to associate manager, no further. Create a game plan to get a win fast, and what they can do to accomplish that. So of course, it's going to be set your first tasting and invite as many people as you can pack into a room. That is your first goal. And then make sure you have enough product on hand to meet that need. So 10 to 15 people, invite 20 people, maybe 10 to 15 will show up. You get your first 4 bottles of wine, boom, you're off and running. You sell $600, you're going to get a next set for free. And that's going to be where you're going to go off for your next, and then you're off on the road running. If you just follow the system, there's no reason why you can't be successful. The problem is people never set that first appointment to get their tasting going, and then it's done. It's done from there. If you don't set that right at the beginning, like you join tomorrow, tell me what your tasting date is and get the invite put together. it's very unlikely that they're going to do it. All right. So the last skill, I guess the last point on the last one was to set very specific and time dependent, I guess, assignments for people. So when they first join, you're going to validate their decisions. You're going to set the expectation. You're going to help reverse engineer what their personal financial goals are. You're going to find out how they like to be communicated with. You're going to get their get started checklist. And then you're going to establish a game plan with them. And then you're going to give them an assignment and you're going to ask them to come back to you. Here's your assignment for today. You're going to create your tasting date and time, and you're going to invite 20 people. Message me once you've done that. Sound familiar, Kathy? Right? Message me after you've done that. Okay, I did it, boss. Now what? And I always say boss because I call everybody boss. But I am not your boss, clearly. I am a mentor, I am the leader, but I am not your boss. You are your boss. You are your own independent CEO. Let's just clear that out. I call everybody boss. So give them another assignment. Once they've done that one, you give them another one. What's another thing they can do to get a win very quickly? Okay, have you announced on social media? The email, I've got the email template in our group. Send this email out, that's your next one. And then CC me on it so that you can see, trust, but verify. I like to trust, but verify most of the time. Send that out, CC me on it, and then they can change that email however they need to, but send out an email. Hey, everybody, guess what I'm doing? This is super excited. I can't believe it. Okay, great. If you give them 3 assignments and they do the 3 assignments and I'll come back to you, I stopped giving them assignments. I think I gave you 3 assignments and then okay, you're doing it. Now go do the thing. I'm going to be here when you have questions. And you've been such an awesome teammate. Like you do the thing. I would like to think I had something to do with it, at least a small part. I will pat myself on the shoulder. I had something to do with it, even if it was.
Yes, you did.
All right. Let's see. Skill number 7 is promote events. Clearly, we were all over the place with you have to come to AMP. You have to come to AMP. If you want to be successful, you have to come to AMP, right? How life altering was it for you to be at AMP?
It's what I needed early on, right? Like, and I'm like, can we have an AMP 2.0 like now?
Midway AMPs.
Yeah. Can we have 2 a year?
Yeah.
No, but it was really something that was transformational. It wasn't just product and sales. Like it really got down to some core belief systems that help transform the future,
For sure. And there are third-party events that will accomplish the same thing. So look into those third-party events from different network marketing trainers. And if you can get to them, get to them. I mean, they'll do the exact same thing for you that a Scout and Seller event will do. So events. Leaders always promote events and always promote personal development, because if you are not learning, you are dying. You have to continue to grow as a human, as a professional, as a leader, where you have to work on your salesmanship. You have to work on your relationship skills, both hard and soft. There's so much more to this profession than I think people give it credit for, because they think we're just all stay-at-home moms slinging our URL over the place, just like throw it in the wall and hope it sticks, and then begging people to buy things from us. Some people do that, and it's not cute, but that's not what we do. That's definitely not what I train, okay? So you have to grow. You have to help people understand what a realistic timeline looks like. So per Eric Worre, and I'm finding this to be very true, okay, so far in my journey, I've been here 4 years, so I'm finding this to be very accurate. Within 1 year, you should be very competent and profitable within 1 year. Within 3 years of consistent part-time work, you should be able to move into a full-time role. So if you are at a job, you should be able to leave your job. You should be earning enough money by 3 years to be able to leave that and then work this full-time. By 5 years, you should be a consistent 6-figure earner. None of these are guarantees, by the way, since this goes up on my YouTube channel. None of these are guarantees. This is just a framework for what other professionals have found to be true. And then by 7 years, the gradient of how much effort you put in versus how much money you make shifts exponentially towards making a whole lot more money for the amount of effort that you're putting into it, and you are an expert in the industry. Expert status, okay? 7 years, around 5 to be a consistent 6-figure earner. And that is with at least 2 years of full-time work, up to 3 years consistent part-time work. So of course you can compress that time frame pretty significantly depending on how much effort you're able to put in at the beginning. But in the beginning, you have to understand the amount of effort you're putting in is going to be far greater than the amount of profit you're getting out of it. It's designed to be that way. And then it will level and then it will shift. But you have to stay the course. You have to continue learning. You have to continue working on yourself. You can't give up. That's when people never make any money, is they stop. Now that you have a framework of timeline, get the whole, I'm going to get rich in a year straight out of your head. And obviously, I'm not just talking to you, Kathy. I'm talking to whoever's watching this later. Get that out of your head. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to have to work at it. It's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of times where you just want to cry or put your finger through your phone. F you, industry. But then take 5 minutes, get over it, and then realize this is, I think, one of the best industries in the world to be part of. And you will be rewarded extraneously once you get past that shift. That's all I have for content tonight. That wraps up the entire book of GoPro. Highly recommend getting it. Any other questions?
Not tonight.
Razzle dazzle. Okay, awesome. Well, it's so good to see you, Kathy. So good to see you, friends out there in the world. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. You can follow me on all my social channels. I'm Tiffany Wicks at Facebook, and I am Tiffany L. Wicks on Instagram. Ciao.
Bye.